we kind of knew that a slowdown period was going to come at some point. But to have everything kind of just canceled, stopped abruptly like this was really mind blowing. I took a load up to JBS in Worthington, Minnesota last night, and not a word was said about, a shutdown.
And so for people that don't know or aren't in farming, JBS is a meat processing facility. Chris picks up pigs all over. Where were you picking them up from?
The area that we haul out of is here at East Central Nebraska.
So East Central Nebraska had a farm that people were producing all sorts of pigs, and this was the time when they fill it up in a tractor, and then they send you up to go drop them off at a slaughterhouse. You were just up there last night.
Right. Yep. We haul about 175 to 185 head on a trailer load, on a semi load of 280, 290 pound fats to go for slaughter. And it's kind of for me, it's enjoyable. I mean, nobody really likes hauling hogs. They're about as big of a headache as you could possibly have. But I mean, we all love bacon. So you take the opportunity when you can get it to provide some more bacon for the rest of the country. And when we got there was a pretty decent lineup of trucks and everything. It was business as normal, I guess you could say. There was probably 15, 20 trucks there that I had to wait in line for to unload. And when I unloaded, I joked around with all the guys at the unloading chutes and everything. We've all been taking our precautions at these slaughter plants, masks, further gloves, distancing, stuff like that. We've all been doing, but nobody said a word about anything coming down for an actual stopping loads. The biggest concern they had was we found out a few days ago that rough number, of course, this is nothing statistical, but about 85% of the workforce up and walked out. They finally got tests to the clinic there in town, and a bunch of tests came back positive and pretty much scared everybody else that was still healthy and feeling fine into not wanting to come back to work. And so about 85% of the workforce walked out. And then I haul in what I hauled in last night was a Sunday night, considered Monday morning delivery. Their shift changes at 1:00 in the morning. And so my delivery was at 1:00 in the morning, and there's probably about a dozen cars in the parking lot. And I kind of knew something was up there, that usually the parking lot's packed and us trucks got to take our turns, getting in and out of the plant, but there was nobody there.
So for people that have never been to a meat processing plant, and I've never been to a pork one, but it is enormous. They are football fields, huge, filled with conveyor belts that are going every direction. People are in lab coats, hair nets, gloves. They are cutting things. Everything is sparkle, shine, clean. Every single time they move a shipment through there, it's cleaned, but it is filled with migrant workers. And,
absolutely. And from every descent, the end that I'm on ain't quite as clean as that. We get the dirty end coming off the trucks.
Oh, really? Okay. That's fair. Fair enough.
We got the stinky end. We don't get the Clorox smelling end. I wish we did, but it just don't work that way. But yeah, I mean, still nonetheless, chutes are, washed down, hosed down, multiple times throughout a shift, to minimize, everything, both the animal, the food, and humans. And so when you look at a processing plant, it's almost, to the point of a hospital, you just wouldn't think nothing of it. But yeah, both migrant, non-migrant workers combined, fill this entire place. And it's huge. They take in, what was it? It was 26,000 head a day, 5 days a week, and slaughter 21,000 head a day, 7 days a week.
Oh my God.
And to have that come to a stop, that's, like I said, we're hauling 175 to 180 head on a truckload. Some guys can fit 200. So just, let's just call it 200, but 26,000 per day. And if we just go off of quarantine numbers, 2 weeks, that's 10 load days at 26,000 a head that's not getting brought in because they're not allowing it. And then on the likewise 21,000 a head getting slaughtered, that's 7 days a week on 14 days. That's a lot of bacon that's not going to make it. So the repercussion.
Do you have any indication right now as to when that comes back on? Did they say go home for the afternoon, or did they say go home for the week? What'd they say?
The guy that I pull for, he lets me leave my truck at his shop. Great shop, great guy to work for. couldn't be any happier where I'm at. He told me I could go ahead and take the truck home. So to me, that was kind of a indication of this ain't going to be back tomorrow. This ain't going to be back by the end of the week. This is going to be, at least the way we're looking at it, is because of the whole quarantine for 14 days thing. We're assuming that the workforce is going to stay away for at least 14 days. And from there, even after that, it's still iffy. It's obvious. We've all seen it. Nobody stays home during their 14 days. Nobody locks themselves in their bedroom. So, if a few more people have it after those 14 days that still test positive, we're worried that the workforce is still going to be too nervous to come back, to open up the plant again.